What is consciousness? And what does it mean to truly live life awake? Welcome to Clarity to Consciousness, a podcast where we transcend beyond stereotypes, embracing a deeper understanding. I'm your host, Kristen Griffiths, a fellow seeker on this path. Join me on a journey as we dive into conversations with experts, unraveling stigmas, and expanding our awareness to something profound. This is your invitation to open your mind with me as together we bring clarity to the fascinating complexities of human consciousness. Welcome back to Clarity to Consciousness, where we seek to clarify the complexities of human consciousness. I'm your host, Kristen Leigh Griffiths, and today's conversation is about conscious dating, navigating love and relationships later in life with clarity, intuition, and help of spirit. This topic is very personal to me. Both my guests and I, we were divorced in our 40s. We have kids. We have full lives. We have a better idea of what we do not want anymore, as well as what we do want. And dating at this stage, it asks for more honesty. It asks for discernment, self-trust more than ever before. And so I'm so excited to talk to her. My guest today is Nicole Angel. Nicole is an internationally recognized psychic medium with over 15 years of professional experience, known for her evidential accuracy and her lighthearted, approachable style. She connects with spirit guides, angels, and loved ones. Today, Nicole and I are exploring how spirit can support us in dating and relationships, not by choosing for us, but by helping us hear our own truth with more clarity. Nicole, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to the Clarity to Consciousness podcast.
Thank you. And that last line is like absolutely perfect. So spirit actually brings the possibilities or potentialities in dating, and then it's our awareness and opportunity of what path we want to choose. I have helped many men and women fall in love and start relationships over the years. I've been very accurate with picking the date, time, and when they would meet their partner, as well as for myself and for others. And it always comes down to the fact of where we are in our life and the type of partner or love that we want to experience in this lifetime. And some people, they find their soulmate, they stay married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years even. I've had clients that have been married for 50 years. And then there are those of us who, like Kristen and myself, who may have had one or two major relationships in their life, and then that ends and we are, starting over again, and what that really looks like for people. And there's a saying, to thy own self be true. And I really feel that is plausible here in this case when it comes to love, marriage, and dating again. To thy own self be true. What is it that we're truly seeking, and how can we align ourselves for the clarity and consciousness that we want at this chosen time in our life? So thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you here. I want to give everybody a chance to get to know you. I've had a chance to get to know you. Can you talk a little bit about how you became a medium? I know you've said that you've been one your whole life. You've known at a young age that you had a gift. When did you first realize you could connect with spirit, and how did all of that awareness unfold?
Yes. So early on, I think my thing glitched a little. Am I on again?
No, you're good. You're good.
That's the spirit world. The only thing with technology, and I'm sure if anybody comes to one of the live shows, I talk about this all the time, is that spirit glitches technology all the time. When there's a high concentration of spiritual energy between people, the technology will just go bonkers. The Wi-Fi goes out. I mean, it's just all of our spirit guides saying hello, and everybody's super excited to talk. And I'm like watching them fly in front of my face. I'm like, we know you're here.
Oh my gosh.
So professionally, I've been doing this for 15 years. I'm 45 years old. So that's 30 is when I took the turn from corporate into professional mediumship. But prior to that, I've had experiences with spirit ever since I was a little girl. There are times where I remember talking to my next door neighbor as a young child. I think I was like 5 or 6, and I lived in Philadelphia. We lived in row homes, and I was having this full-on conversation with her, and my father came up the stairs and was like, Nick, who are you talking to? And I was like, oh, I'm talking to, my nanny. And it was my actual like babysitter. And I said her name. And he's like, there's absolutely no way you can be talking to her because like we're having her funeral downstairs, or we're having like her celebration of life downstairs. So
Whoa.
she had passed, yeah, and I did not know. And as a little girl, they were trying to keep me away from like the celebration, I think, or just separated a little bit. But she was in my room with me, and we were still talking. I didn't know that she had passed. So that
Wow.
is a memory. And then I have another memory. My dad, obviously, I was born in the '80s, and so this is time pre-cell phones. I know that sounds so crazy, but like
Yeah.
so I woke up, I think I was in kindergarten at the time, and I told my dad that all of the family members needed to get together, that he needed to go drive to his brother's house right away. And it was super important that the family was together. Now, my dad is also spiritually gifted, and I guess just something in him listened to me. His gift does not materialize the way that mine does, but it runs in the family. So it's on his side. I do believe it's on my mother's side too, but they are very Catholic and they don't like to talk about it. So my dad's side is very Catholic as well, but they're very open to it. So I went in the car with him, got him to his older brother's house. As soon as we pulled in and we got into the house, there was a phone call from their other brother. So there's three boys, that their father had just had a heart attack and passed. So
Oh,
I was giving my family that forward trajectory prediction, so to speak. Like I woke up with that prophetic vision as a little girl to get my family together so that they could all be there for the news. My gift lies in forward trajectory, things that are going to happen that are on your timeline of destiny, as well as speaking to loved ones who have crossed and our angels who are always here with us guiding our way. So that was just another way that my gift was materializing. And that was at a very, very young age, that was like 5 or 6. So,
wow. Wow.
yeah.
Well, your work is known for being both evidential and approachable. So, how did you learn how to trust and then refine your connection with spirit?
Yeah, sure. So when I was leaving corporate, I told my team, I said, the only way I'm going to do this is if I really help people and if I'm really good at it. Like, I'm not doing this just, like if I'm okay or it doesn't really make sense or, I'm only doing it if I'm going to be so accurate and detailed that like it is helping people. I'm not doing it for anything less. Because there's a lot of 15 years ago, there was a lot of just, I want to say backlash. I don't know. The world wasn't as open as it is today to psychics and mediums and people that had spiritual gifts. And so I was like, if I'm jumping out of this normal life and, into this spirit world, you better have my back. So I really put it to my spirit guides, like this needs to happen. It's the only way I'm doing it. So people need to realize that you can do that with your spirit guides. It's like if there is some type of goal or something that you are wanting to acquire here in this lifetime, it is their privilege and honor to deliver that with you. If it is, I want to get married, I want to start this business, I want to travel the world, I want to start a charity, I want to, like, whatever it is, really speak that into the ethers and speak it with your team in spirit, and they will help you forge the path ahead. I've seen miracles in the last 15 years. I could write a book. Clients, I have so much confirmation. They really want to help you, but you have to be specific in your request, because unless you're dying, unless your life is coming to an end, and either by tragedy or a force of nature, you probably won't have interaction with them on that type of level unless you ask, because they are benevolent beings and they want to come in when you invite them in. So that's where the angel numbers come in. That's where the synchronicities come in, the manifestations, because we're inviting them closer to the veil and giving them an opportunity to appear physically in this dimension to help us. So that's what I did 15 years ago. I said to them, I am not going to do this if it's going to be small. I'm only going to do it if it manifests big and if I help a lot of people and if I'm really good at it, because that's just my personality. So enter evidential mediumship. So evidential mediumship is an old British style of mediumship. So my family is from Wales and Ireland. So it's an old Celtic way of reading. It's the more type of mediumship we see here, excuse me, they're like starting to come in. See in the States is called conscious mediumship, and we see evidential mediumship in the UK. Evidential mediumship means dates, times, accuracy, and detailed information from the beyond that I would have no way of knowing. So that's really fun for me to do in a group setting where I can walk up to somebody and tell them exactly who the spirit is, how they passed, what they were wearing, what they smelled like, all the things, because there's no way I would have that prior knowledge. So we love doing that. And there's a second piece of that that's called platform reading, where we allow the actual spirit to come forward and talk to us in a group setting, like they're on a platform, like they have a microphone in their hand, and they are telling me their time of death, how they passed, and what, details that, again, that I would have no way of knowing. So that's very, very UK style. Now here in the US, because obviously I've been born in the US, I was accustomed more to conscious mediumship, which I still believe is really an amazing thing, where the spirit comes to you and they just start talking to you. But what I realized is not every spirit talks in my reality. Maybe for other mediums, it works differently, but the way that they come to me, not all of them talk. They're usually energy and vibration, and I have to put that energy and vibration into sound and frequency, and that's where the gift materializes, and I then pick up on that energy and I deliver the message. So there's a couple different ways to really get those messages across. So it's really good to be with a medium that understands psychic development, because you're working with all your psychic senses as well as intuition and all the subtle energy. So just like when you meet people, there's not one human on the earth. There's many different humans that are here. There's many different spirits in the spirit world, and they're all communicating differently. For me, I have to learn how to eat. Some of them are through taste, touch, smell. Some of them are through vibration, telepathy. Some just stare at me. I'll just see them and they just stare at me. I'm like, what do you want me to do with that? I'm like, you're just staring. I can't. It's funny because they're like not sure how to talk to me, and they'll just stare. And I'm like, okay, well, I can read your mind if you want to just tell me what you're thinking. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
Wow, it's so interesting. You don't realize that there's so many different ways of doing it. That's so cool. All right, so moving into our love lives. So you and I both have navigated some major life challenges with love. We both have been divorced. It was a huge experience in my life. I'm sure it was for you too. How did that experience change you personally and spiritually?
Yeah, so it really made me aware of my own desires in life and what I really want to cultivate as a human being, and for, parenting and spirituality and morals. And I believe people change over time. Sometimes if a couple is not growing together, there could be growing apart, or people just have a full-on change. And the person I was with was 10 years older than me, so he hit more of like a midlife crisis before I even knew what was happening, and like everything went nuts. But my that's a whole nother, we could do a whole nother show on that. But anyway, but as you are developing spiritually, you really get to know who you are as a person and things that you will accept and won't accept. Now, being psychic throws a whole nother thing into it, because I dealt with, infidelity, domestic violence. I dealt with a lot of financial abuse. And so I was seeing these things before they happened. And like spirit would come to me and tell me, hey, this is about to happen. So even with like my team trying to help me, you still, for my story, I still wanted to believe like this person could be saved, or if I gave them the information, like, hey, you can go in a different way, you don't have to do this. And what I've learned is there's these lines called destiny lines. When we are destined to experience something on our life path, you cannot, even if with all the knowledge in the world and all the psychic information in the world, you're not going to change that sort of destiny line that's meant to happen along your path. Now, free will comes in. We have an opportunity. Do I stay with the person? Do I leave? Do I try harder? That's like the free will, but there's always this overarching line of destiny that's meant to happen in your life. So I'm very much an alchemist. I really do believe in the power of alchemy. And like when something happens to me that doesn't feel really well, I take it as an opportunity to grow from it and learn from it and challenge myself. But my girlfriends make a joke. They're like, you can turn down the throttle on that. Like you don't need to learn so much all the time. It's like, woo, we're just going to set everything on fire all the time. But, I think some of our greatest lessons come from those trials that we go through in life, and especially matters of the heart. And heartbreak for me is really about heart opening. So it's not so much that I'm breaking my own heart, but I'm expanding more into who I am, and that through that heart opening, I'm going to learn something about myself.
Well, that's so interesting. Yeah, well, and for me, it was like I kind of felt like the relationship had run its course and I was ready to end. I don't know why. I guess maybe sometimes you just feel like it's ready to go versus staying. Something about staying didn't feel right to me, but gosh, yeah. It was such a big life change and so scary to move through. I know sometimes we don't always have a choice to whether or not to move through it, but it was such a huge change and shift for me, both spiritually and personally. So, for our listeners who are new to spirit guides, can you explain what they are and how they typically communicate with us who maybe not be so much mediums or not necessarily have those spiritual gifts developed?
Yeah. So typically the easiest thing is angel numbers because people just see them all the time. So like angel numbers on license plates, on the clock, on the radio, you just see sequential numbers or numbers in double or triple digits. And it's like these numbers kind of come at a time where you may be asking a question about life, or you may be asking a question about your profession. So those, I call them winks from heaven. It's just like your guides letting you know, hey, we're with you. Hey, you're not alone. Hey, I'm going to help any way that you need help. Spirit guides can be either related to you or a team of spirits that have you've worked with sometimes in past lives, or you've worked in this life, that are here to guide you along your path. Just what they are said to do, spiritually guide. And so through that guidance, I look at it as a counsel. I'm a person that loves creating business. I just have from a very young age, background in business development, marketing, entrepreneurship. Like I just love doing that. And so for me, I always consult my spirit guides on business, matters of business, and matters of how do I take my business in what direction, as well as with mediumship and all the other spiritual enterprises I have going on. But really, they are here. They're for team, whoever you are. Like I always call it like Team Nicole. Like they're with me. They're my team, and they're not going to let me fall. And they're very much, they stay in the background until you invite them in and ask for that sign. So when people are driving in their car, they're maybe saying a prayer or asking for an interjection from the spirit world. How do we get those answers? It will typically be like a song on the radio. It will be the numbers. It will be synchronicities, like running into somebody you haven't run into in a very long time. And so that begs the question of what's the difference between ancestors, spirit guides, angels. Like there's so many different beings on the other side, and there really are. So your guardian angels are a little bit different than your spirit guides, who are different than the people that you have lost in spirit, but they all work together. But the best way I can describe it visually and how I see when I'm reading people is they look like councils. It's a council of light beings. These are non-physical beings. They've never really been in physical form before, but you can have an ancestor who was in physical form at one time on that team as part of your spirit guides.
Mm. Okay, that's really helpful. So, and you can talk to any one of them, and I assume that if you just kind of ask, they will come in, and you don't have to necessarily call out one or the other. But I think the key is you do need to ask for help. Is that correct?
Yeah, need to ask for help, and you need to ask for their, I want to say, like divine intervention or intercession, because when you're
Mm.
dealing with benevolent beings, unless you're in grave danger or like I've seen them come in and stop time and stop an accident from happening. I've seen them help people that, were going to leave the earth and it wasn't their time. So they can do it
Wow.
at that moment. But when it's just your day-to-day life, like whether it's you're dealing with parenting, with, finances, you're dealing with health, career, we really need to invite these beings in order to get the benefit of working with them.
Okay, that's really key. So I'm glad we covered that. So for me, um, love in my 40s has looked a lot different than it has in all of my other generations that I've been alive. Probably because now I have kids. That's obviously a big factor. A little bit older. I'm not in the social circles that I used to be. And so it's like unless some guy's gonna deliver my groceries to me, I'm generally it could happen, but like I'm not really meeting a lot of people. So I'm curious, like for somebody in our situation, and I don't know what it's been like for you. You're out probably more than I am, but how can we work with spirit to help bring in new love? We've got Valentine's Day coming up. How can we work with spirit to help bring in new love and relationships into our lives?
Oh, I love this question. There's so many ways that you can do it. So, a lot of the women I work with or have worked with in the past, they are, and everybody cringes when I say this, but there is a use for some of the dating apps. There is, if you are super specific and not on all of them. Like, I just had a woman meet somebody off a specific dating site, but the filter is your blessing. Out of, women, we go on there, we get hundreds of messages. I know, I got like 500 messages. And out of 500, there might only be 10 that you should message. And it is work to go through them. But you have to put your filter on, just like you would put a filter on when you're going shopping and you're looking for a specific height, weight, color, like whatever. Like you have to put that filter on and really go through, okay, well, they're aligned spiritually, or they have the same religious beliefs I have, or they live in the same demographic. Like really, I teach people to use that as a mechanism, not only for yourself, but calling in what you want from the universe. So getting specific. We also do divine manifestation prayer list. So writing down exactly the type of partner that you want and not veering from it. So not being like, well, maybe, because as women we do that. We go, well, maybe I shouldn't be so strict on this one thing, or maybe I shouldn't, believe this certain way. We start doubting ourselves. And I often do hear like people they lose hope. They lose hope and they start going beyond what they would actually accept. And that's where we start to falter and call in what we don't want. Okay. So first thing is getting super clear on who it is you want and the exact timing that you would like it. Do you want it in 6 months? Do you want it now? Are you ready in 2 years? Really getting specific. So use the divine manifestation list. And again, using the apps when you are very clear about who and what you're calling it. Now, the reason for that is because our lifestyle has changed. Our lifestyle, we're not living in a world where people even like smile at each other anymore. I have lived across many states, and I know the southern states, I felt much more at ease talking to people than I do in the northern part of the country. For whatever reason, culturally or not, that's just the way it has been, okay? So up here in the north, people walk around with their head down. How are you meeting somebody like that? How are you interceding or interjecting with somebody like that? So our lifestyle has changed. I do believe there's a time and a place for the apps, not just as like, what our generations tend to do, not using it for like a one night stand. Okay.
Yeah.
But using it as like a real thing. Like if you're not looking for a long-term relationship, then like, we're not even having this conversation. Like you're not even in my sphere of consciousness. Okay. So get super clear. The second piece of that is sometimes when we do a reading, spirit will be like, you're going to meet them, but we're going to bring you to another state for a job opportunity so that your lives interact. I've had that with two women recently. One had to move to California, another one moved to DC. And it was like spirit is trying to get you to collide with your possible match. That also brings in another topic that I just talked about today. There's going to be more than one person. Yes, there are Yes, there are soulmates. Yes, there are divine partners. Yes, there are people you are meant to be with this lifetime. But moreover than not, what they are creating are potentialities of you running into somebody that you would be a candidate. And then through those candidates, you get to decide who is the type of person that I want to be with. So I always tell people, date, figure it out. That's what we have to figure out. And if the universe is giving you people, but it's not exactly, maybe it's 80% of what you're looking for, maybe it's 50%, keep trying, because the universe is pulling in those potentialities. And if we just sit home and don't try, it's very hard for them to do their work. So getting back to the two women. So they literally had to move across country. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for those of us that have opportunities in different states, that's what they did. And now these women are married, some of them on their second relationship in life, and one just had a baby. Like, so they moved the mountain. But we have to be willing when spirit's like, okay, well, I want you to go, to this party on New Year's Eve. You're going to run into somebody. And it's like, that's where it happens. But again, those are potentialities, and you're refining into exactly what you want. Like, I kept seeing this girl go to New York City. She's a client of mine in Philadelphia. Kept seeing her in New York City, like on the town, super dressed up. Like, this guy was wining and dining her. And she had to date two people like that in order to get the one that was perfect, if that makes sense. So it was like spirit was giving her that timeline, but she went through one to get to the one that is her forever person. So sometimes we need to, I have a lot of stories with this about so sometimes we need to trust, have faith, and keep the momentum going. It's just like building business. When you're building business, there's a momentum behind it. You do something every day to build your business. It's like you have to do something every day to date and call this in. And what people tend to do is just sit at their house or in their home office, and we work a lot and we don't call it in. We're not, it's like, you have to treat it as though it's a job. It really is in the beginning. Dating is a job. It is work. And I think because our consciousness has changed, where we get everything pretty much instant gratification, we're not used to really putting the work in anymore.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah. I mean, everything comes to us so quickly. Amazon, all of our deliveries. Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, that's really helpful. Okay, we talked about creating lists about things that we do want. And by the way, is there such a thing as being too specific to the point where we're like just totally reducing our chances to something that it's almost impossible? Or do you think we really need to be very specific?
That's a great question. So I feel like there is, like, when you get down to eye color, hair color, all of those things, I would say kind of be a little loose about that. If there's a certain ethnicity that you like, or I would say bring that in. If there's a certain cultural background you like, bring that in. I would say if there's a certain height requirement, a lot of women have height requirements, bring that in. If you want somebody that's athletic or works out, it doesn't work out, bring that. So the physical attributes, I would say kind of get like specific, but not so to the point where you're like, they must have blonde hair, blue eyes, blah, blah, blah. Because then I think it squeezes it too much. But I have met women that have done that, and they've brought in exactly what they wanted. But through the years, I have helped women just get an idea, a sense of what they're calling in. Because I don't even think they know what they want. They're like, I just want somebody to love me. Or I just want a good guy. Okay, well, what does that mean? Like, I just want somebody that treats me right. Okay, well, now we're calling in like 5 million people. You know what I mean? So like, we got to get down to like specifics. Like, what type of lifestyle do you want them to have? What type of belief system, spirituality? Do you want them vaccinated or not vaccinated? That's another big hot topic right now. Children, divorced, what are the things that we're really calling in? And so having that, it's a plan, but it's not so rigid that others can't come in, but it's not so loose that I'm dating the whole world, right?
Yeah.
So I want to be specific.
Yeah. Is there such a thing as scarcity mentality? Like, sometimes I think I'm running into that, where because I live in a rural area, there's not a lot of singles, like around in general. It's like very family oriented. And sometimes I worry that I'm in more of like a scarcity mentality. Is there a way to get out of that so you're not stuck feeling like, okay, I just have to find the next guy that breathes?
Right, that's the program. So you're running that. So that's what they're serving. It's like, okay, anyone that has breath in their lungs,
Yeah,
please.
exactly.
That's what we don't want to do.
Right.
So it's not scarcity. What I feel like is more is that it's not going to happen. So underneath that scarcity is like a program that's running like it's not going to happen because I live in this area and this is what's surrounding me. So we have to look for that underlying program. This is actually like really what I find, and I work with women on this a lot, getting to the underlying programming of what you're feeding your cells and your DNA and what you're talking to yourself about. Like, what is it in the program? And that goes through trauma and grief and things that we've experienced in our lifetime. Maybe we're putting walls up. Maybe we don't want to open ourselves up to anyone anymore. Maybe we're scared of being taken advantage of. So, I mean, I have met people in the middle of the desert. I have met people in a small 400 person town. Okay. So when I really open up and I'm like, okay, spirit, I'm open. I want to meet this, like my children's father, I literally met him in the middle of the desert, literally.
Oh my gosh.
And he was living in Texas and I was living in Arizona at the time. So it happened at a town that was probably 8,000 people lived in that town. So you can meet people anywhere. It's really, what am I open to meeting and how do I want to meet them? And so, okay, so that begs the question, because you definitely, these are great questions. So dropping into the frequency and the vibration of that which is seeking, that which I am seeking is already seeking me. So I walk around like that, especially with business and partnerships. That what I am seeking is seeking me. So like I'm putting that vibration out there. So you have your person who's already looking for you. So dropping into that internal vibration of whatever I'm seeking is already looking for me, and you match up frequency, and that pulls different people in. So then like when you go to the gym, when you go to the restaurant, when you pump gas in your car, like whatever you're doing, those potentialities are working in the universal structure and they start to come in and really magnetize themselves to you. So that goes into manifestation and vibration. What is our internal resting rate? What are we consciously putting out into the universe? So I walk around every day as though I'm in love with myself and I love everyone. So it's like a love for the entire universe. So people smile at me, people offer me free things all the time. I meet the nicest men, so I just am always being blessed, like from spiritually, from spirit, from guides, the angels, because that's my internal rate. So I'm already walking around as though it's happened. So you trick the timeline and it comes quicker, comes closer.
Ooh, that's so good. Okay. What I'm hearing from myself is maybe we need to do some coaching, because I feel like I have some blocks up right now. I need to get back into like walking around like that, because I've definitely shifted out of that mindset. That's really good. That's really, really good advice. So let's say we did meet somebody, but it's not feeling aligned, something's off, but we keep them around because we're struggling to meet somebody. Can spirit alert us to when something's not aligned? How would we work with spirit to like get us out of a situation that maybe doesn't feel so good, or maybe you're with somebody that's not meant for you?
Yeah, that's really great. I do that all the time. So when you realize that maybe something has gone awry, like in the case of my children's father, I was asking for spirit to show me signs. Like, please come in, show me signs, let me know that I'm just not in my head about this situation, that I need proof that something's going on. And so they did. They led me to all the notes, the text messages, the things. Like, they gave me signs and symbols and pictures. And my one girlfriend ran into them couple states away, out to dinner together. Like, it was just really crazy. So like spirit can move the mountain, right? So that, and I just did that a few weeks ago as well. So when we're not sure about someone or something, or you just want to make sure you're on the right path, this is a time to get your angels in and your spirit guides and say, please, I really want to see the situation appropriately. Please give me a sign if I'm on the right path or if I'm not. Which way am I supposed to go? Can I really trust this person? And so they will start bringing the information to you. Now, when they bring the sign. Sometimes people cannot discern, is the sign yes, no, stay, go. So that's another layer of it. So just because you got a sign, are we reading the sign or the symbol appropriately? And that's when we bring in our team. So I like to do things in threes. There's a sequential order in the universe. So three is a magic number. So I always ask them to bring me something 3 times so that I can figure out if this person is right for me or not. And I really need you to be clear about it. So sometimes the energy is subtle. Sometimes it's like a Mack truck and it will just come in, quickly. But moreover, this energy is subtle. And then you need to discern, is this person really meant for me or so when people stay with somebody just because it looks good on paper or it looks as though this is who they're supposed to be with, you'll understand that you start repeating cycles and patterns. So maybe they will start gaslighting you again. Maybe, and you're like, oh my God, I just had that in my last relationship. It's not happening. Maybe drama will start coming in that you're like, this is not going on. But like my sister, I love her. She knew, I'm like, you're fair game at this point because you're related to me. But we're trying to get her husband, and we had talks over the holiday season, and she is about to turn 39 and has never been married and wants children and wants the whole thing. And like, she'll stop dating somebody because of like the shoes he's wearing. And I'm like, dude, we can buy him new shoes. Like, don't be that surface.
Right, right,
But
right,
I
right.
feel like sometimes in our day and age, we look at all of the outside qualities. Like, we can change hair color, we can change clothes, we can change the car you drive, the house you live in. But what we can't change is the internal structure. So I always tell people, again, going back to the manifestation list, focus on the internal structure. Kind, generous, loving, good father, good partner, provider. That obviously that's for men. Women that want to date men, and like, vice versa. What are the men looking for? What are some of the attributes and the characteristics of that person when they show up? They can't just be a pretty face. What's happening underneath the veil, and what are we really looking for? But yeah, spirit and the angels love to help us with this, because they want us to be married and in love, or in a committed relationship. Because the more of us that are in love and in a committed relationship, the vibration of the earth automatically shifts upward, and so the earth becomes a lighter and happier place. So they of course want to help us with this topic.
That's a lovely thought to have. I never heard it that way before, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Love begets love. Oh, okay. Well, this has been so fun. Any other tips or tricks, anything we didn't get to with love and dating that we should cover when it comes to our spirit guides and helping us navigate those waters?
Yeah, I think momentum, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but it's really hard to call someone in when we're just like sitting on our hands and not doing anything about it. And I feel like momentum, discernment, asking for help, really putting ourselves out there, and to thy own self be true. This doesn't mean you date people that you're not interested in. They would not want you to do that. They want you to date your dynamic person. They want you to be in that higher state of vibration, calling love in, and really working in tandem with the spirit world. We live in a reality where we can manifest things in real time very quickly. What separates us from that is belief systems, or the feeling that it can't happen to us, for us. So people who are really good at manifesting business sometimes are not good at manifesting love, and vice versa. So you have to use the same sequence, the same order of things. And you can if you can manifest financial wealth in one area of your life, but you can't manifest a divine partner, well, why not? It's the same frequency band. You should be able to manifest in every quadrant of your life if you're a true manifester, right? And that's what we work on in the spirit world, is really getting into your highest level of consciousness and bringing forth those ideas so that you are, you're a dynamic human here living on earth, and that it's fun. And does heartbreak happen? Sure. Who you are in your 20s is not who you are in your 40s. Well, for me anyway, 20s, 30s, 40s, constantly changing. And I want to be with somebody who's always constantly changing, striving to be better. And so when we live from that place of always wanting to be better and pushing ourselves to seek more, to understand more, to love, then really calling in our divine partner or divine counterpart becomes fun. It's not like this arduous chore. And I just went and did a house blessing for a client of mine and her brother, and two dynamic humans who I absolutely love. And so in the house, I was putting in prayers of manifestation for marriage and kids, and I could see the veil thinning and I could see the vision of all of it materializing. So it's happening there for them. They just, there were some things that they needed to work on internally to let go of or heal so they can meet that manifestation. So the vision I get is that it's already happened. And so when we live from that place, that it's already there for us. Like, I love love. I'm just a person who always loves love in everything that I do. And so I'm just meeting that frequency band and calling it in. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for those last tips. I mean, I think that's really, really helpful. It's supposed to be fun, and if it doesn't feel fun, then maybe some internal shifts are needed to get it to a place where it is fun. I know. I think that's something that I need for myself. It's been feeling not so fun lately, so I think that's something that I could really use a little help with. So, and I know you do readings for people both virtually and in person. Do you want to talk a little bit about what options you have available?
Sure, yeah. So definitely love a personal reading, whether it's in person or over the phone, they work the same. I usually do Zoom so I can see you and we can talk all about your life plan, why you're here, where you're going, things to work on, all of the beautiful things, and your ancestors and your guides coming forward and really helping with that information. And then I also do live shows every month, which are more of a blend of comedy, live mediumship, and psychic ability. It's a lot of fun. People have a great time. It's a great night out. It's definitely something different to do. And there's people there. Come out and meet people, mingle. I do it at a comedy club. So we have a lot of shows that are happening at the same time. And so you can meet people, you can have a drink, you go out to dinner. It's like a whole night. So that's a lot of fun. And then I'm ramping up my school, my classes, mentorship, people that want to get into psychic development, mediumship, and really step into their gifts or just live a more conscious lifestyle. I'm here to help you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I haven't been to one of your live shows yet, which are usually at Soul Joel's. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's for people who live in the Northeast. Hopefully they can make it to one of them live, but that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I hopefully people book a reading with you because they're so good and I loved mine and I feel like I'm overdue for one soon. So I'll have to get on your calendar. Well, I know that we're running out of time and I have to ask you some questions that I ask all my guests before we end today. So reflecting on our conversation, what's one key takeaway you hope our listeners remember about dating with clarity and utilizing spiritual support?
Yeah, well, there's two that come to mind. Like I said, momentum, right? Like, let's keep the energy moving and moving in the right direction, like not sitting on it. If we want to cultivate something in our lives, whether it's love, financial health, wealth, freedom, we want to get behind it with momentum, love, and trust, and really opening up to that. And then falling in love, like fall in love with yourself and the world around you again. Like, some of us have forgotten that we need to love ourselves, really fall deeply in love with yourself again and fall in love with the world around you. And that love is just going to pop right into your reality. It's very simple, very easy.
Yeah, thank you. That's so important. All right. For someone who wants to start working with their spirit guides, where would you suggest that they begin?
Booking a reading. No. Yeah, no, or just go, come, come to one of my classes. No, but seriously, the spirit guides, honestly, everything's subtle energy. They love when we make time for them, just as you would make time for a partner, make time for your spirit guides. We have such a busy, chaotic life, internal and external. So sitting like on your pillow, on your couch, in your bed, wherever, same time every day, ask them to come close to you, ask them to reveal themselves, and it gives them an opportunity and time to get used to you as well as you're getting used to them. And by used to you, I mean like in this dimension. So they're very good in the spiritual, but we want them to come closer in the physical so that you can actually feel them. So I always say, like, consistency, same time, same place every day, ask them to come forward.
Yeah. Okay. That's really helpful too. Would you say that could happen like in a meditation practice and do it then?
Yes, yes. And some people say, oh, it's so hard for me to meditate. And I was like, well, I don't want to put that much pressure on you, but you can just sit there and breathe. Like, sit there and breathe. Like, just breathe. I like holding my hands to my heart, or in the morning, I hold a cup of coffee and I just breathe and I close my eyes and I just say my prayers and thank you and invite them in and just ask them to closely come in. Don't make it more complicated than it is, right? It doesn't have to be super complicated. And I feel like the spirits in the simpler details. They're not really complicated. They just need a space to come into your life. Once we welcome them in, then they start coming in a lot more. So same time, same pillow every day, and just breathe and ask them to be close to you.
Hey, great advice. And my last question for you today is your point of view. What does it mean to live life consciously?
Yes, it means to be aware of my surroundings, aware of who I am internally, as well as the energy and the vibration that I'm putting out into the world every single second, mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. This has been such a fun conversation. I've loved it, and I adore you, of course. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your story and all your wisdom with us.
Great time. I feel like this topic is so wild, like it needs to be like a series. Like there's so much here to unpack and really walk people through like the intricacies of it. I
Yeah.
just like this is it's a really good hot topic. People are really craving love at this moment. So thank you for bringing me here. And I love
Oh,
working with you. This
cool.
is awesome.
Well, listen, I am totally open to this being a series. Maybe we can do it again and do a part two if you're open to it. I would love to have you back.
Yeah, let's do it. Because people want it. They want the information. They want to learn how to get back into their dating life again because we've been so segregated, and then coming back after divorce is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I'll say. All right. Well, everybody listening, please write in the comments if you'd like to hear one more episode on this. We can definitely dive a little deeper and talk about other things. So thank you, calling on everybody to do that. Help us manifest it. But I appreciate all of you listening. Nicole, you're the best. And for all of you, whether you're dating, healing, or simply learning to trust yourself again, love yourself again, thank you so much for being here with us on the Clarity to Consciousness podcast. I'm Kristen Leigh Griffiths, and until next time, stay curious, live consciously, and keep seeking clarity. Much love. Bye for now.
Bye.